Thank you for joining. Instead of flooding your inboxes every day with a card, chakra, yoga, I'm breaking things up live to 3 times a week. I will post it as a written as well. But again, this shows you how it transpires. But I also want Wednesday to be about a deeper subject. Identity, a trauma you've moved through. We don't want to sit in it. We want to show how we move through things. And I want to make this a supportive, safe place for that. So if you ever want to tell your story, let me know and come on as a co-host. And we'll share something you're comfortable sharing and how you overcame it. I know how I move through things, but we have something to learn from each other. I see a lot of stuff. I read a lot of, or I listen to a lot of audio books. And the other day there was a new book about curses and hexes. And the first thought that came to my mind is, why? We have enough hate going on in this world. Why do we need to show a book on how to curse somebody or hex them and hurt them? Why not just send them on their way? So they don't bother you, but without the backlash. That was just my thought. Anyways, there's something else that I'm doing. My book, A Witch on the Edge, I finally locked in an actual publisher. I'd been bouncing around from this to that to this to that, but I hadn't committed. I finally have committed. Self-publishing. You have to pay something. It's very minimal. The editing process is underway. The front cover design is pretty much done. The back is almost done. And so I thought, before you buy my book, maybe there's some things I should share about myself, and specifically 37. And these are going to be very short videos. And I tried to do one yesterday. I always have to have notes because I can get really off track. I use Substack's video editor, the new place where you can screen share and whatnot, thinking that it might be easier. It did something to my voice. It zoomed in when it shouldn't have, like the shorts that it made. And then the words coming across the screen were not what I said. And what I was talking about was something empowering, not something traumatizing, but it turned it out that way. I didn't realize it. I left my computer. I went out for a bit, came back. I saw it and was a little bit upset. But the point is, when you get triggered, by a life event that's happened in the past, how do you get through it? Because if you just sit in it and wallow, it will swallow you. And there's nothing good about that. I got some kind words from family, spent time with them. I erased the video, pulled it off of YouTube, pulled it off of here, and learned a lesson to speak really clearly when I'm talking fast and intentional. So, the 37 things, I will start back with one, but not in this video. I just wanted to touch on that subject because I want Wednesdays to be about not just pulling yesterday's card today and tomorrow, but also about something you want to say. I'm just leaving the floor open. Identity, trauma, but not, like I said, not stuck in it. How you moved through it, what helped you, and how it can help others. That's the purpose. The words it put in my mouth, the ones across the screen, disturbed me. And I was angry. I worked hard to set up make sure I was centered, because I know the phone will cut it here. But by the end of the day, or the end of the evening, sorry, I was okay. My daughter bought me some ice cream. That helped. I'm not going to say that sugar is a cure for trauma, but sometimes just that little bit of sweetness can relieve the bitterness of something horrible. Now, that does not mean, because I do believe in eating healthy, that every time you get upset, reach for something sweet or salty. But when big things happen, allow yourself that grace. We have 5 senses, and when a trauma occurs, we need to come back to all 5 of those senses, right? How things are looking, how you're hearing them, how think your touch, smell, taste. It re-anchors you into reality by coming back to the senses. The 5 things I can see, the 4 things I can hear, a couple things I can touch, something I can taste, a smell that gives me comfort. It helps. It honestly does. It's a really simple technique to stop the spinning. So next week, I do have a guest coming on talking about identity, and a very complex identity at that. But identity is complex. We get given an identity when we're born. We are a gender. We are a daughter or a son. As we grow, we become a mother or a father. You might be a brother, sister, cousin. There's many different identities. But the point is what you choose and what you let go. So next week, my guest, we are going to talk about identity. But I open this space Wednesday. Contact me. Anything that you have moved through, the fire that you have walked through, the phoenix that you've risen with. Let's talk about it here together. So let's get to the chakras, cards, yoga of today. And any questions, please pop them up in the chat and I will happily answer them. I have to have notes because I will do too much of this. So on Monday, we had the page of chalices and the third eye. And the yoga pose I chose was cow face. The cow face is when you take your legs like this. I will slightly move this so you can see just a little bit more what I'm doing. This is my ileostomy bag. This is what, so I believe in spirituality, but I believe in science. It was the doctors that saved my life giving me this bag. And sometimes it makes noise and does what it does. But, dude, it saved my life. So, it is what it is. So, you wrap one leg around the other. Then the arm. So, the leg that's wrapped, the arm goes forward. And then it comes out in front of you. So, it's coming right out in front of your face. So, the same leg is the arm that's forward. And then the other one. And then the hands are like this. And then they come up. So your elbows are at shoulder height. And this is a third eye pose. So your gaze is soft and out. So shoulders up. You take a deep breath in. You want to engage your core, which basically means you're tightening your lower belly. But I'm also squeezing my glutes. I'm squeezing my thighs together. And then my arms, I'm squeezing, I'm pulling my shoulders up. But I'm also keeping proper posture. And breathe into it and hold. And squeeze. Keep that core engaged and squeeze. This is a pose that you can hold for however you're comfortable, how long you're comfortable with. If you have bad knees, you don't want to stay in it too long because locking your knees in a semi-meditative pose can cause issue. Now we release the arms, release the legs, and now we go the other way. Okay, so I just had this one on top. Oh my gosh. Okay, brain. It was this way, so I need to be. Now I need to be this way. So now, for me, my left leg is on top. So now my left arm is the one that's going to be more forward. I'm wearing this just because it's a little bit chilly. It just slightly is warming. So the left arm is forward. And again, so you're squeezing your thighs together, engaging the core. My hands are like this. They're like straight up. See, hopefully you can see. But again, it's shoulder length. And then my gaze is out. Breathe in. Squeeze. Hold and just breathe. This is great to, it gives a bit of a piriformis stretch, which is for sciatica. But you're squeezing your inner thigh, so that's working. Your glutes are working. Your core is working. Your shoulders are working. But we're also concentrating on that third eye. Coming back to the body, especially after trauma, because we hold trauma in our body. We hold it in different places. Figuring that out, and when you do meditations where you're clearing your chakras, you want to figure out where you hold your trauma. Like, where in your body do you hold it? A lot of people will hold it underneath their shoulder blades. And there's a way in massage therapy that when I used to do that, when someone's laying on their stomach, if you give them a massage, you make sure their arm is relaxed. If you're giving them the massage, you pull their shoulder up, make sure they keep it relaxed, and then you can literally get under the shoulder blade. And people store so much tension there. The glutes. Most people can't handle a glute massage. Why? Because we store a boatload of tension there. But in your chakra, sorry, my computer sometimes just turns off, even though it's plugged in and I'm live. It shouldn't be turning anything. It should just be staying. After 20 minutes, so it decides that was literally 20 minutes. I don't know if it broke for you, but I had to quickly turn it back on. I think I need to change my settings. Have I ever said I'm really not a fan of technology? Like I am, but I'm not. I'm writing a book about it, how spiritual people, how we battle technology. There's words we put on our websites that get flagged by Google all the time. Um, yeah, no. It's, I don't know, my computer just after 20 minutes, I have to change it to, I have to go into the settings and then put like an hour or 2 hours or something in. Sometimes it just does that. I mean, it shouldn't, but technology is why I got so upset last night because AI changed my voice, put a word in my mouth, made me sound a certain way, and it was very upsetting. But I processed that. That's why I'm laughing now. Um, but yet still, technology is not my friend. Well, it is and it isn't. It lets me reach an audience. Um, I do like my computer, but it can be a pain in the ass. Yeah, I'm sure everybody feels it. And I'm sure everybody's had a video that has gone out and has been not what they wanted at all. Okay, so that was Monday's pose. On Sunday, we're going to put them all together, but also I'm adding in little extra stuff. Things you can do at home, but ways, so in between these poses, ways to get into the type of yoga that I teach is hatha. So it's you hold the pose longer, you want um, perfected form, um, over, flowing quickly from one to another to another to another. That is a beautiful dance and like symphony of the body. But first, we need to learn perfect pose or perfect form in weight training, right? If you don't have proper form, you can't lift heavy. So let's get to the cards. Now you're going to watch how I shuffle counterclockwise. Opens the energy. So this is for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Monday was a page of chalices. And the pose I just showed you called cow face. Sanskrit is behind me. I can tell you what it is after. Also, we've been sitting in Sagittarius and waning gibbous. So that is until 6:05 this morning, we moved into Capricorn. So it was Sagittarius fire, and that was action. And this phase of the moon, after the full moon, this is now as we move towards the new moon, it is the energy of action. But now that we are in Capricorn, it is what do we have to teach? Today, I'm trying to teach how not to lose your mind when technology goes crazy. And of course, whatever the cards say. And whatever chakras come up. And any questions anybody has, please feel free to ask. The world yesterday. Temperance today. And Page of Moons for tomorrow. Those are the 3 cards. Tuesday, today, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Friday, I will, when I do the live prayer, I will pull Fridays. And then Sunday, I pull Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I have yet to make the other flashcards for all 12 chakras. I mean, I think a couple weeks, I want like 4 weeks of just the 7. And then we're going to move to my favorite, which is Hara. We're going to add her in. And then, of course, I mean, we have 144 in our kind of our orbit. But we're going to just stick with the 12, not 144. But first, I want to do this for a while so that it, the continuity. Let's get used to this first before we start adding a lot of confusion, right? Okay. Yesterday is the heart. Today is the third eye. Tomorrow is solar plexus. Now, there's 2 cards for each chakra. One has basically a stone and what it means, and the other one has a more descriptive about what the chakra is about, what zodiac signs it is. So yesterday, green aventurine is one of the stones you can use. Also, rose quartz is great for the heart. I'll come back. You've seen what the cards are. So, rose quartz is also typically used for the heart as well. So on this card, what it says, the heart chakra is the 4th chakra located in the center of the chest. It synthesizes love, compassion, and forgiveness. The color is green. The crystals are rose quartz, emerald, green aventurine. The body areas is the heart and lungs. Zodiac, Libra. Tarot, suit of cups, element of water, food, leafy greens, vegetables, green tea, basil, and thyme. Balancing tip, engaging in activities that feed the heart, practicing self-care and self-love. Aventurine, is a stone of prosperity. It reinforces leadership qualities and decisiveness, promotes compassion and empathy, encourages perseverance. Aventurine relieves stammers and severe neuroses. It stabilizes one's state of mind, stimulates perception, and enhances creativity. So that with the world yesterday. So for me, the heart, I had to move through forgiveness in self that I made a mistake. Or that the computer made a mistake. I needed compassion and I got it from my daughter. I am still getting over pneumonia, so I'm not 100%. I'm like 90% almost ready to go back to the gym and really dive in. Now, couple that with the world. Now, let's look at what. So, I just want to read you the meaning, and you need to figure out how this interprets into your life. Versus me just, I will tell you how it interprets into mine. And this is how I do my readings. So when you come to me for a reading, I will sit down and I will tell you what the cards traditionally mean, the person who made the deck, their meaning they've put in. Then I will tell you what I see. I mean, if something, because I'm a medium, so if something comes through, I will stop and deal with that in that moment. But I go through the layout and say what they say, and then I say what I see. Why do I do it that way? I know what the cards mean, but I like to let it land for the person. And then when they're all laid out, it tells a story. So then I weave the story a little bit deeper. Sorry, I did not turn that off, which I should have. And it's doing something very bizarre. No, no, no. Okay, now we're going to turn it to silent. Did I say I'm not a fan of technology? Like I am, but and my phone's been doing this weird echoey thing. I gotta go get it checked out. It just with getting my book published and whatnot, like working on editing and I don't have a lot of time. Okay, so the world. Like, I mean, realistically, the world is a lot of these cards you can pretty much figure out from what they say, what they are. Sorry, sometimes I'm slow at this. 21. All right, so the world. Completion, fulfillment, accomplishment. The world means you've done it. Your efforts have come full circle and you've completed a cycle. Celebrate your accomplishment. Take the time to reflect on your journey and acknowledge how far you have come. You have acquired a deeper understanding of yourself. You also have a deeper understanding of your connection to the universe. Consider sharing your experience with others. So, we add that with the heart. Do you see how that fits? Absolute perfectly. Early in the day, I finalized the cover, but also gave the back design. So the photographs or the illustrations in my book are based on photographs, unless it's yoga poses or geometry. And they're photographs either of me or that I've taken. So the front cover is a picture of me when I first moved to Alberta in a handmade dress, but it's an illustrated version. And then on the back, I took a picture of, I have a really large vine downstairs, and it frames my patio door, as well as I have my mini rose bush inside, and her name is Lilith, and that is on the back in an illustrated version. And I was really happy with it. And so that part of yesterday makes sense to me with the world card and the heart. And I had to both get compassion from others, but I also had to do self-love. So what is a good yoga pose that fits with the world, fits with completing something and letting it shine? Well, let's see if I'm deciding here. So, cow face into, who do I shine in the world? You know, the best way to shine in the world is Lord of the Dance. Yes, it's hard, and you don't have to do it perfectly, but that is a pose for yesterday. You don't go from cow face into Lord of the Dance. On Sunday, the way I will put them together is a way that they will make sense, but that is the pose, because the world is about that completion. Lord of the Dance is extending your leg, and it's kind of it's a beautiful completion. Even when you're just starting to get used to it, if you can't extend your leg, and you have to just hold it bent, the point is to start. That pose is grand. It is the world in your hands, and it is you showing your beautiful completion. There's one person that's caught on to what I'm doing with all of this. When I choose the cards and then I choose the yoga, how I bring it into the body. I believe things live both outside of the body and inside the body. So we can project stuff out. We can also bring things in. And the cards plus the chakra and then the yoga, that's what it does. Okay, so today is another third eye and is temperance. Temperance. Sorry, my phone just keeps locking on me. I'm just going to go back a little bit. But ask yourself, what does the world card mean in your life? Yesterday, like what happened that felt like a moment of coming together? Temperance, patience, moderation, and composure. This is me today. This is me not spiraling, not going deep into why what happened traumatized me specifically. So it's the peace that surrounds you when your life is in balance. You may not be able to control a situation, but you can control how you react to it. I say this all the time. Temperance reminds you to exercise patience with yourself and with others, and to go with the flow of life. Now is a time to stay steady and strive to maintain peace, both inner peace and peace between you and others in your life. Added with a third eye, that is that centered peace. So today, recovering from yesterday's thing that I needed to accept and move and still love myself. Oh, and so the third eye, um, the color is indigo, crystals, amethyst, black obsidian, body areas, eye, pituitary gland, pineal gland, zodiac sign is Scorpio. Tarot, major arcana, which we have, the temperance. It's the element of spirit. Food, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, poppy seeds. Chakra balancing, add aromatherapy and sound therapy to meditation sessions. Use of chakra healing stone, maintain a healthy diet. The stone is called Gabora. It does all of the chakras, which is why normally when I'm doing readings or things like this, it's not far from me because it is balancing. We can't change the past, but we can change how we react to it. Oh, that's beautiful. Um, and balance in everything. So you saw when I go counterclockwise, then I go clockwise. That is balancing out energy. When I cleanse my space, I cleanse with sage, a male plant, and then cedar, a female plant. Balance. Always balance. So, third eye, we're obviously not going to do cow face again. We're going to do something else for the third eye. So, if we're doing Lord of the Dance, Thunderbolt. Yes. Right? Thunderbolt. So Thunderbolt, I'm not doing Lord of the Dances because I have to change the whole setup of everything. But Thunderbolt is just sitting on your feet, straight up and gazing. Shoulders are back and down, core is engaged. Everything is still tight, back, and the gaze is out. So moving from cow face into Thunderbolt is probably the flow I will do. And then whatever else is low to the mat, and then come up, or else starting up and then coming down. I have to see how the week unfolds. Sodalite. Sodalite is one of the third eye stones, as well, of course, as amethyst. So I want to show you something here. So holding up these cards, I have amethyst. I also have my shungite hair. So my company's name is Willow Hummingbird Hair Psychic Services. And I don't know, you know what, that'll be one of the things about me that I will explain. But I will take a picture of this. But I also have the Eye of Shiva, pink opal, the Goddess Stone, which is really, normally when I do a meditation, I lay this on my heart and I lay this on my third eye. And then I have a white opal plate. And you see this in my pictures all the time. But these are what the stones are. And these are why I use them. There's a balance. There's also a little obsidian heart. It's probably in my sweater. It must have fallen out. I have a bunch of them. Anyways, I put a little black obsidian heart on there as well. So we have cow face, Lord of the Dance, and then Thunderbolt. We're going to see how the week plays out, but I might add one of my favorite poses in. So this is the energy of today. Tomorrow we are still in Capricorn. So we're still in that grounded earth energy. But we have moved to the page of moons and the solar plexus. So the heart feels, the third eye sees, the solar plexus is will. So the color yellow, crystal, citrine, tiger's eye, yellow, jasper. Body areas, lower back, digestive system, and liver. A zodiac sign area. My gosh, literally, my computer has to stop doing this. Like 40 minutes literally hit and it did it again. It just, sorry about that. I'm really terribly sorry. Okay, colors yellow. Citrine, tiger's eye, yellow jasper, body areas, lower back, digestive system, liver. Zodiac sign, Aries and Leo. We're in Aries season still. Tarot, suit of wands, element of fire. Food, grain, sunflower seed, turmeric, chakra balancing tips, meditating and soaking up the sun. So third eye, of course, is meditating. Also with the citrine. Citrine energizes every level of life. It cleanses the chakras and opens the intuition. Citrine attracts wealth, prosperity, and success. It imparts joy, wonder, delight, and enthusiasm, raises self-esteem and self-confidence, stimulates the brain, strengthening intellect. So let's see how the page of moons echoes that. To get to the... So in the Haunted Tarot, I like this. I really like this deck because it's not what it seems. And I've said this before, that he literally, all of these cats are based on, no, that's tombs. We want moons. Oh, shoot, I went past it. Went too fast. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the page. First of all, the suit of moon. I'm going to go back just a bit. The suit of moon corresponds to the mind. Thoughts, intellect, attitudes, truth, beliefs, and communication. It's also associated with conflict, struggle, and negative patterns of thinking. It represents a transparent element of air, and it has the ability to bring clarity in the midst of confusion. And unseen force, air is associated with movement and change, taking the form of a light breeze or a ferocious windstorm. So, wait, how did I get past that? Gosh, sorry. I'm going too quickly and not paying attention. It should be the one right before this. Here it is. Okay, sorry. Curious. Yeah, that's the right one. Curious, clever, and communicative. Full of energy, the Page of Moons is witty, curious, and loves to communicate. You may be looking for new ways to express yourself, communicate ideas, or even wish to study something new. The page tells you to move ahead with a new idea or project, and remember not to let setbacks or mistakes stop you. View them as opportunities to learn. So that with the solar plexus and the will, your will of movement, I will do. But it's also, air is so, I say this all the time, air is the most dangerous element. What you say, you can never take back. You always watch what you say. Don't say things in anger. Don't say things that you will regret. So how do we bring that into our body? We held the world in our hands. We created. Today is about balance in what we created. And tomorrow is about how will we hold that balance? How will we let it shine? How will we let it breathe? So we're down on the floor except for Lord of the Dance. So you know what? I showed this last week. So we are going to do, so it's your knees to your chest, but so you're doing this, but you're bringing them right to your head. Now, why didn't I pick something big and open? I'll show you why at the end of the week. That pose brings in, and it brings in the strength of will. And it brings in the breath. Right? We've opened with the dance. We've created the world. Now we're bringing in. But I will also show you a beautiful way to really help the low back. I will add that sequence in. So we have yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Questions? Any question? Please like, subscribe, restack, share. It's how I can communicate to more people what I try to communicate. And although in my life I've walked through fire way too many times, I don't like to use it as a I don't stay in that space. I learn from my mistakes, try not to make the same ones again. And I'm not afraid to admit them and share to you them. So I will see you on Friday. If you want to practice these poses, if you're not warmed up, do things gently. Any sharp pain, stop. But engaging the core, stretching is always good. Always the shoulders back and down. We should stretch at least every day, do some movement. As we age, things deplete from our bodies. Eating a healthy, balanced diet, but always having a cheat day. One day where you indulge in something that gives you comfort. Oh, for the world and the heart is the heart is Lord of the Dance. Let's see if I can get up here to do it, to show you. So, Lord of the Dance. Generally, we're a little bit more warmed up. So, with anything, you're going to hip width apart. Having a wall is okay if you need to start, right? So, you pick up your foot if you need the wall to balance. The trick for balance is looking where the wall and the floor meet. You gaze down at that, and that will naturally put your body into balance. So, Lord of the Dance, you start by grabbing your foot, finding your center of balance, and then extending. I am not warmed up, so give me a second. So I'm engaging my left leg all the way up to my glute, but I'm slightly bending my knee. I am not leaving it rigid because you have to pick up your leg and you have to find balance, and then you have to extend. And you extend however you're comfortable extending. Right now, I'm not extraordinarily warmed up. That's as far as I'm extending, but that is Lord of the Dance. Doing it next to a wall, you can put your hand there. It's all about starting, right? The world is in your hands. When it's done, when you actually go into full extension and your leg is up and your arm is completely extended, when you hit that pose, it feels like you have conquered something. Like it's that feeling of really conquering it. Hello, Marisol. But I mean, just popping into the pose isn't necessarily the easiest thing. I normally do it after my body is warmed up a little bit, and when we do it on Sunday, I will get everything warmed up before I have you try. But like I said, even if you only get to the point where you just grab your foot and that's where you start and you're holding on to the wall, that's okay. That's where we start. Perfection is whatever it means to you. I carry a couple extra pounds. I'm okay with it. I'm working on losing it. When I got sick, your body changes. I don't try to be a 00 like I was when I was 19 at 55. My perfection now is different. Lord of the Dance is expression and how you can express it with your body, how you feel comfortable expressing it with your body, how far you can go, and keep practicing it. Hold on to the wall. There's no, okay, there is a wrong way to do yoga, and that is doing something too far or that hurts. But this one is about balance. It's solely about balance, but it's it's also it's beauty. It's like you're holding the world. Your body is this like temple. That's how that pose feels to me. Like, so that's why I'm giving it that way. Because when I do it and I hit it really good, um, when I hit full extension and I'm able to hold it, I feel amazing. It's just one of those. It's same with like when you're doing the stand on your elbows and the head, it's like super really hard. But when you hit that, you feel amazing. But you don't start out there. You start out with simply engaging the one leg, lifting the other, finding balance, then slowly extending in a safe way. Why I'm using tarot, chakras, and yoga together. So, our vagus nerve is our central channel. It attaches to the pituitary gland and then it moves down our spine. And all the other, I actually have a chart of the spine and how the different chakras, as well as so the polyvagal blocks, there's 3 of them. It works on the same. So the vagus nerve runs down here and then it comes out into your body. Now, where your chakras are, there's little nerve centers. So that is like your core of everything. It goes into your brain, the nerves go into into your fingers, into everything. It is the information system, the roadmap in your body of how your brain tells your hands to move, your nerves move and they feel. Have you ever noticed that when you get a paper cut, that pain is horrible, but you can sometimes break a bone and not even know that you've actually broken a bone. It hurts, but a paper cut sting is harsh because the nerve endings on in your fingers are right there, right? Inside, the nerves feel different. In when we give birth, why we're able to do it is because when the body spreads apart, it puts pressure on the nerve so you don't feel as, oh, fuck. Every 20 minutes, I'm literally, after this, I'm changing this in my computer so it stops doing it. Every 20 minutes, it decides to turn itself off. And I have to clean. So when you have a child, when your hips spread, it kind of opens it up, but it blocks that nerve pain. It's why we're able to give birth. The vagus nerve is the big nerve, and then they all branch out. And if you go in deep into anatomy, physiology, everything has the same name, right? So the femoral artery, the femur bone, it does get simpler to understand, but I'm not here to teach anatomy, physiology. I'm here to teach how tarot, astrology, especially the moon, and chakras or polyvagal system, whichever one you want to use, come into the body. And how when we're moving through life, we feel it in all these different ways. The cards tell a story. The chakras tell you where to feel the story, and your body anchors it. We also do have extension outside the body. And that is why I'm going to make the rest of the chakra cards and then start going into that. Normally, when I teach chakras, I teach Hara first. Hara is your gut instinct. It's your 8th chakra. Everybody knows what gut instinct is. I knew I shouldn't have done that. And it's how to live true to instinct. But that's for another day. Gone over an hour. Just to recap for you, Marisol, for yesterday, we pulled the world and the heart chakra, and the pose is Lord of the Dance. For today, it's temperance and balance, and third eye, and my brain just went. Thunderbolt, because Monday is cow face. So when you go from cow face, you can go into Thunderbolt. It's a nice progression. And then for tomorrow, it's the page of moons, which is air communication. We are still in we will still be in Capricorn, so it's still grounded, and solar plexus, so will, and that pose is it's knees to, like, knees to head. But I'm going to do a really beautiful nice back sequence on Sunday. So Friday, when I do the prayer, I will add Friday's card, Friday's chakra. And then on Sunday, I do Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I'm not flooding your inbox. This will become shorts, so you'll get a lot of the information. Do you have any questions, Marisol? On chakras, on cards. Oh, Wednesday is also for, I talked about something that happened to me yesterday that was a bit disturbing. And Wednesdays is also about pulling the 3 days together, but it's also about, we're going to hit one hard subject. Something I want a co-host for Wednesdays, or a guest, and I want someone to talk about something difficult in their life where they've felt different, and how they've moved through it. Not to get stuck in trauma or something disturbing, but how we've conquered it, how we've moved through it, how we can share it to others. that strength. It's walking through fire and coming out the other end. It's a phoenix, it's rising. Whatever life throws at you, there's always a way to get back to it. And that's why with this, right, we need to feel, we need to see, we need to make sure that we ground in the body, but we also need to make sure we release, right? So in movement, we release. We also release in breath and meditation. So to close this out, let's do a small meditation. So we've got the third eye, the heart, and the solar plexus. Find a comfortable position where you're supported. I want a kind of an open, hands open, not a specific. We're not specifically picking earth, and we're not doing mudras. We're just letting our hands be. We're letting ourselves be open. The world balance, and then the air is open. So you're going to take a deep breath in. Make sure your shoulders are back and down. Stop. Engage the core. You can still do belly breathing when you're engaging your core. And it supports your lower back so you can sit properly. So I want you to take a big breath in. And I want you to take it down to the root. You're going to come up, and the solar plexus are here. So we are going to circle the solar plexus, move out anything that feels stuck there. And that part of your body is like the lower back, digestive. So like it's like this here, right? Sacral is a little bit lower. Solar plexus is just above, and then the heart is above that. So we're going to go to the root. We're going to come, and we're going to move through the lower back, move up through the heart, release the breath, breathe in again, and then I want you to focus on your third eye and balance, because that is today. So what do you need to bring into balance? Okay. So big breath in, proper posture. Imagine the light going down to your root, coming up, circling around your digestive system, your lower back. If there's pain, it's soothing it, it's taking it. If you have digestive issues, it's calming it. It's coming up to the heart. If the heart is holding on to any pain, and the light, so in the solar plexus, it's yellow. Then when you move to the heart, it becomes a beautiful green. And this green healing whatever hurts in the heart. I'm talking, you're just breathing and envisioning. So let that green light soothe the heart. Release the breath. Take another breath in, and then focus in the third eye. So the third eye is, if you take your finger here and here, it hits your pituitary gland, but it's right in between your eyebrows, basically. So breath in, circle the solar plexus, go to the root, circle the solar plexus, yellow, beautiful light. Come up to the heart, green, healing, what you don't need. Release it like you're releasing a gray smoke. Breathe in and come to the third eye. Now I just want you to sit in balance. Try not to let the monkey mind go crazy. Just concentrate on that balance. Holding. That's all you're doing, is just balance. You've released what hurts. You've released any pain or anything in that digestive system. And now we are just connecting to the mind and balance, temperance, spirit, whatever that means to you. If you feel your mind slipping, just bring it back to center. Keeping proper posture. Open air, healing, and seeing balance. Come back to your body. Open your eyes if they were closed. If you need to move your legs around from sitting, do so. And watch for my 37 things I'm going to share about myself that I think you need to know. But if you have questions, ask. And if you have a story you want to share, message me. Blessings. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all who have watched this at another time. Please like, subscribe, share. It's free. Go in love and light, in peace and balance. Blessings.